Ezra Ginsburg from Hockey Manitoba, and I'm pleased to be joined by Kati Tabin. Kati, how's it going? Thanks so much for taking some time to talk to us.
No problem at all. Yeah, it's going well.
So, to start off, how does it feel when you hear Kati Tabin, Canadian Olympian?
Crazy, honestly. It's kind of like a someone pinch me moment. I think it'll start settling in a little more once I get to Milan.
And just continuing with the Olympics, we wanted to ask you, how did you find out that you made the team? Where were you? Who told you? What were the circumstances? I imagine your phone was blowing up after it was released in public. But how did you first find out that you'd be going to the Olympics in Italy?
Yeah, so we had calls a couple weeks ago now on a Thursday. Mine was at 3:10. And so all just Zoom calls, all the coaches on the call, GM and our head scout, and actually my head coach, Corey Chevry, who is also an assistant coach with Hockey Canada, delivered the good news with me. So basically, we hop on the call, and she goes, "Hey, Tabe's gonna keep this short and sweet." And in my head, I'm going, "Oh, great! Like here we go." And she said, "We want to congratulate you." And when she said congrats, it just didn't process. I'm like, why is she saying congrats? Like, this doesn't make sense because I was just preparing for the worst. And then she said, I'm making your first team and making the Olympic team. And I think I just, yeah, just so many emotions going through me. And then they said, some nice things about me and how I've been performing. And yeah, that was basically it. Quick, short and sweet call, but very good one.
How much have you been leaning on some of your teammates for the PWHL's Montreal Victoire, like Marie-Philippe Poulin and others, Aaron Ambrose? How much have you been leaning on some of those players, asking them what to expect at an Olympic Games?
Yeah, totally. They've all been great. Laura, Marie, Ambrose, and Debian, they've kind of had my back and any questions, throw it my way type of thing. So they've been great. You just even here in Montreal, I've gotten to know them pretty well. So it's definitely a little bit better knowing that I'm going across with them and I can kind of lean on them for any type of questions I need answers to.
Team Canada head coach Troy Ryan, I was reading an article and he was quoted as saying that you're tough to play against. And I want to ask you if that's something that you take a lot of pride in.
Yeah, totally. I think, I kind of started to really take pride in that going to Quinnipiac University. They really kind of installed that into my game, and I've kind of just grown in that aspect of I don't want to get scored on. I don't want anyone near our goalie. I just want to play offense. So the quicker we can shut down people, the quicker we get to go play offense.
And the next question I wanted to ask you was you're in your second season, we mentioned, with the Montreal Victoire, and I wanted to ask you how you would assess your season thus far.
Yeah, I feel like I've just continued to grow as a player, and that's really exciting to me. Is I'm never satisfied. I know even now I still have another gear to give. So I just think, I've worked on my speed a lot, my strength, my physicality, being a shutdown defender, trying to add to the offense as much as possible. All these aspects of my game, I think, have allowed me to be more and more consistent over the years, and I think that's what's, really helped me grow as a player.
Prior to joining the PWHL, you played for Toronto in the Premier Hockey Federation, and you won a Isabel Cup, and that was in 2023. And I wanted to ask you how that changed the trajectory of your career. I'm assuming it obviously helped you with your confidence, but what was that experience like for you? Because obviously you had been out of hockey briefly before that.
Yeah, totally. Before going to Toronto there, I just had a moment of, if you're going to go play for this team, absolutely go for it and put everything into it. So that's kind of what I did. I got back into shape and, really put my mind to the fact that I wanted to be the best. And, if that was just going to be the best on Toronto, then that was kind of my goal. It was just to keep growing and getting better. And, I think I kind of got my feet wet again, joining hockey and joining the Toronto Six there. And then obviously the P-Dub, came about, and I was luckily chosen by Montreal, and yeah, here we are.
And you played going a little ways back. You played several seasons for the Balmoral Hall Blazers, which is obviously a very well known program here in Manitoba. It's produced a lot of really good hockey players. How did those seasons with Balmoral Hall shape your entire hockey career?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I grew up in Oakbank, Manitoba, so growing up there, there was really only the guys to play with. Then we decided as a family we were going to move to Winnipeg, started going to Balmoral Hall, where I kind of realized, okay, I could go to college if, I keep playing well and keep my grades up. And Balmoral Hall really helped me education-wise and also hockey-wise with the program there. I give props to Jerry Wilson. I still remember to this day he sat me down. I think it was my grade 12 year when I was graduating, and he said, you're a late bloomer, and it's a good thing. You have so much room for growth. And I remember at the time I was kind of like, he doesn't know anything. I'm not a late bloomer, but I still remember that to this day. He was totally right. And I think they taught me so much there, and I just grew as a person over the years after that, and kind of still like, yeah, look back at that and just think, yeah, he was so right. And as long as you have the right mindset, you can kind of accomplish anything.
As we talked about earlier, this is going to be your first Olympics. Jocelyn the Rock, your teammate, this is going to be her fourth Olympics. So we wanted to ask you, what type of impact has she had on your career, both on and off the ice?
Yeah, she's been great. Honestly, the all the camps this summer, she was kind of right by my side if I needed someone to, just pick their brain about what do you think about this, or I'm a little nervous about this. And I've kind of watched her game over the years. She's extremely hard to play against. She's a shutdown defender, can create lots on the offensive side as well. So yeah, definitely take a lot from her game, and super cool that I get to play alongside with her because she's obviously a legend in Canada, honestly. So super cool, and yeah, just grateful that she kind of took me under her wing.
And just a few more questions here. Another question we wanted to ask you was, you represented Team Manitoba on several occasions. So we wanted to ask you what you remember most. What are some of your favorite memories representing Team Manitoba at the same time that you were a student at Balmoral Hall?
Yeah, I feel like just playing for Team Manitoba is just so cool. It's kind of the first big accomplishment for someone at that age, and to kind of represent your province and compete against other provinces is so fun. And I guess I just remember kind of just hanging out with everyone and really bonding and making a lot of new friends there. And I remember in Calgary we got these cowboy hats, and I still have that hat to this day. Super cool. And then yeah, I went to the Canada Games, and I can't remember where it was, but somewhere in BC, and that was super cool. Just all the other sports there as well. I remember we kind of went and watched a bit of the skiing there, and the speed skating, I believe. So super cool experience, and yeah, a memory I'll never forget.
We wanted to end off by asking you about women's and girls hockey in Manitoba, because obviously there's going to be a lot of young girls watching you, looking up to you and Jocelyn at the Olympics, and hoping that one day they're going to get there. How have you seen, since you were young playing minor hockey? How have you seen the game grow? Because obviously right now, the numbers of girls playing hockey just keeps going up in Manitoba.
Yeah, I think it's so cool. Like I said, even growing up in Oakbank, there wasn't a girls' team to play on, and now I actually have cousins who play, in Eastman, and growing up in Oakbank there, and they have a bunch of girls' teams. So it's super cool to see the amount of girls that are getting into the game, and yeah, exactly. They kind of have something to strive for now. Not only the Olympics, but also our league. So that's super cool because, me and Joss didn't have that growing up. And how cool is that now the boys can say, oh, I want to go to the NHL, but the girls can also say, I want to go to the PWHL.
Kati Tabin, thank you so much. The Olympics are only a few weeks away at this point. I know you're busy with the Montreal Victoire as well. So we really appreciate you taking some time to talk to us, and best of luck at the Olympics in Italy.
Thanks so much.